Awesome.
Amazing. Phenomenal. Sisterhood.
Brotherhood.
Diversity. Fantastic. It's fun.
Welcoming.
The Muslim community, when I went there, actually there wasn't any that I knew of. That there was a need to have some sort of Muslim organization, so to promote Islam in a way that we found it appealing. The biggest obstacles that we faced at that time, I think, was basically finding enough people to form an organization. We got our own office space. It was a really small room, but we were so proud of it. We were able to pray in that room on the 10th floor of 21 Washington Place.
My relationship with the Islamic Center at NYU actually started well before my formal roles kind of working at New York University. When I was around 12 years old, my brother was doing his undergrad at New York University, and I remember distinctly coming with him quite often to NYU's campus, and at times we would go to the Islamic Center, its events, its programs, sometimes the Friday prayer services that they had.
First few years, we struggled to get students. I remember Layla and I and a few others would run after students about a block.
From that point, when I first went with my brother, I just knew that I wanted to go to NYU because I felt as if I had found a place to belong, because there's so many people who are very different from me who also belong there.
I remember going to Mamoun's on McDougal Street and ordering 10 or 15 falafels for 75 cents each, and that was basically our Eid celebration or whatever celebration. And then,
when I first came here, we were at a basement of a church. And you know, it was a mashallah good size, but a modest size. And when you think back to where we are today and how we've outgrown the space that we were in to where we have a beautiful building, we even exceed the auditorium capacities here for our prayer spaces.
Well, I think the Islamic Center at NYU, it's much of a departure from any number of hundreds of other Islamic centers throughout the U.S.
You know, today's Islamic Center at NYU is, I think, is a much needed and very remarkable institution in the New York City Muslim landscape, as well as more broadly the United States on a whole. One of the things that our community is good at is welcoming people.
What the IC has to offer is in many ways a truly New York experience, but one that is also rooted in the timeless values of Islam.
I didn't even know what community was until I came to the IC.
The community here is very embracing, very opening, and very welcoming.
Strangers coming together to help one another and help other strangers they don't even know.
I've been coming here for quite a while and have experienced a lot of learning and growth here.
the Islamic Center continues to grow and has grown this large is because of its leadership.
I was working on a leadership project and I came to approach Imam Khalid about wanting to do something, having a passion of making a difference for women. He was instrumental in providing support, and he challenged me and asked me to take it on.
If Imam Khalid Latif wasn't there and some of the other people behind the scenes like Samaya and Wajahad and a whole host of other students and alumni weren't behind the Islamic Center, it wouldn't have grown.
IC plays a big role in my faith.
I had always had the problem of having a significant Muslim population around me, and it had been hard for me to maintain my religion because I didn't have that community. Now I do.
I went to the new school, but nonetheless, I always found home coming here to the IC.
In my mind, that there should necessarily be safe spaces, engaging, inclusive spaces in the Muslim community.
In addition to the different groups we have, the number of offerings that are provided, it seems like every day there's some sort of way that you can connect, whether it be socially, spiritually, to the Islamic Center and be integrated into the community.
When we compare a safe space like this one with the dynamic type of leadership that this community is afforded, that the demand for inclusive spaces, the demand for meaningful spaces, the demand for engaging spaces is very, very high.
How cool this place is because you can relate to people, and people are from all different parts of the city and the country, but yet you don't feel alienated. Like I'm a musician, I'm a DJ, and next to me is a doctor, and next to me there's a cab driver, and next to him is a restaurant owner. But yet we all get along, and we have this connection together, and it's really cool.
What I love about this is, you have a lot of people who are willing to live this sort of American life and at the same time redefine their Islam and their religion and be really good Muslims.
One of the key components of our methodology here is to just ensure that people don't feel as if they're by themselves. A community is not really a community until every individual in that community is really assessed and understood based off of their needs.
The only thing that can really meet the need of warm hearts is other warm hearts that are going to engage them.
The idea that our hearts are warm enough to embrace whoever comes in the door and try to adapt our situation to be inclusive of them is at the heart of, I think, what makes the IC unique.
The programming here is absolutely phenomenal, and it really creates an environment where every individual feels like they're being taken care of and they feel like they have a place in the community.
Just the programming alone is a catch for Muslims and non-Muslims.
One of the things that we do in conversations is that we give out shahada bags. So when somebody's about to take the shahada, we'll come with a cake, we'll come with a gift bag, and the gift bag will have like all donations of prayer beads and prayer mats and Qurans and books and things that help a new convert learn about the faith.
To me, you can gauge the health of a community is how the space navigates gender and how the women in a community are made to feel comfortable.
The best part of the IC is that it's a home for everybody and everybody can find something that they're looking for.
The sense of community and the sense of family draws me to the IC, and knowing there's always going to be a safe space if I ever run into issues or problems in my daily life.
I don't have to try to fit in with everyone out there because I have my own people here, and they've given me a sense of home and a sense of belonging.
I gain inspiration from the Islamic Center. I gain a certain energy from it. It motivates me to kind of keep going and to not look at things from the perspective of my own gains, but to look where others will gain.
We should all be engaged in some form of service. And when you do that, things become very fluid. And those are the kind of communities I think that we find here at the IC.
The Conversations group has grown from just being once a month brunches to also partaking in activities with other IC groups such as hunger vans.
For our children, for ourselves, for our friends, it's critical. So I really would like to see a lot more effort and time and resources coming in from the Muslim community out there.
The Conversations wouldn't even be Conversations without the IC and their support. I mean, they're the backbone of the whole program.
That's where it's important for us to kind of keep moving forward and keep growing. We're at a critical juncture right now institutionally because our growth is going to become stagnant unless we start to really build on an operational level. We want to be in a place where in the next couple of years we're increasing our staff and we're increasing our resources and we're able to provide that many more services because we actually have individuals who are trained and skilled and qualified to be able to help us with that growth.
So in general, I think we need to begin carefully employing people that can do the jobs that need to be done to support communities. And I think the Islamic Center here, it seems to me like definitely needs that.
What is the future of NYU's Islamic Center? How do we really understand and envision the Islamic Center's growth and where do we want to take it? I think in large part that's going to depend on our community members and really how we as a collective are willing to be a part of the process for the Islamic Center's growth and ensure its sustainability.
The people that I've met here are some of the greatest people I've ever met. One of the things the Islamic Center at NYU helped me do is to kind of take ownership of my faith.
This is a community that will never turn you away no matter who you are, no matter what you've done.
So for me, the IC represents immersiveness, diversity, and empowerment.
A safe haven, family, an adventure, love.
Willing to help.
Inclusive.
Inspiration. Contemporary.
Cool.
Your home away from home.
Awesome.
Welcoming.
It's more than that.
I want to be able to make sure that in 50 years, 100 years, when arguably all of us who are sitting here listening to this right now are no longer present to be able to attend this Islamic Center, it's still that much stronger and it's still benefiting generations to come.